those questions.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I think the first question was about how long it took me to launch the brand. So let me just maybe give it clarity a bit to say, in the 18 months that I did, work on, I did prove a concept as well, meaning that I had my samples, done. We actually did about 21 samples of our mesh edition, mainly because we did not just want to be a South African brand. We wanted to get the right aesthetics, the right quality. And the reason why we did 21 samples was because sample number 5, sample number 8, sample number 15 was not of great quality the way we wanted the product to be. So everything else happened in that 18 months before we went on to launch, our brand. So I can answer a question to say it took that 18 months for us to go out in public and sell our product and sell our brand promise and engage with consumers. Before we did that, it took about 18 months, from before we first launched our brand. So I hope that answers the question. So the 18 months was not only the proof of concept, but the 18 months included, sampling. It included a whole lot of other things because I'm also an accountant by profession. So I had to learn about the dynamics of retail in South Africa, the landscape, the mechanics, how it works. So everything else that you see today as IPATU, from the business model, the value chain, it took 18 months to learn before we launched. So I hope that answers the question. Question number 2, so we launched a CSI project, just to give context for those who don't know, called Bar2 for Bar2 Care Project. And the reason why we launched that project specifically was because we've seen the impact that we make with the people that we employ and the stakeholders in the business. And we thought about how do we walk the journey with our future leaders? How do we get people to be a part of Bar2? And these are kids that can't necessarily work at Bar2. They don't have the money to buy a pair of Bar2. But how do we get to activate our brand at that level? Because oftentimes, brands make a mistake of activating in the consumer now, in today's consumer, in someone who can convert into sales now. But what about your future consumer, especially with us as an emerging brand? That consumer, we want to take up the market and own the market share. And we cannot necessarily do it in this space with these international footwear brands now immediately. So we need to play a long-term strategy because we need to go back to our future leaders, walk the journey with them, give them shoes for free and walk this journey with them, because when you give a Theo a pair of school shoes for free in grade 1, in grade 5, grade 12, and one day and maybe possibly even sponsor their higher education, one day when they are a CEO of Avata, they're a CEO of a big corporate, they will know which brand walked the journey with them. And our mandate as a brand is that we want to donate 1 million pairs in the next 10 years. And the same way we started our business, from using our savings, bootstrapping everything else. When we started this project, we didn't want to go run and ask for sponsorship from corporate. We were like, our business is supported by people, authentically. People have supported our business. So we took our proceeds and invested in this project and manufactured the school shoes, and we donated, to the kids that we donated, at the school. So to answer your questions, is that we want to be the hub of all the school shoe drive that are happening in the country. So we are not restricted to a region or anything like that. We want to donate to everyone, but obviously now we don't have a sponsor. We're doing it, on our own. So we are more than willing to come and support any other school shoe drive that is happening throughout the country. Actually, next week, we just going off to Botswana because we just partnered with an organization there that wants to buy 100,000 pairs of school shoes that we can donate.
Yeah, I think mine is the mic. Use the mic.
If I could just have this mic here. The roving mic will have to be sanitized carefully. Okay.
Thank you. I think my sister, if I could request Ikono to share the information of where the chamber offices are. At the Durban chamber, you have the SMME desk, which deals with the ED. So they are connected with ITEGO, they are connected with different departments. I think more specifically to what you are looking for, it will assist if you can visit the Durban Chamber offices. We're actually here at the Country Club, Durban Country Club. You get there and you ask for assistance. This is what you are doing. Can you get an advice? Who can you speak to? You can probably find that there is maybe a program on manufacturing directly on what we are doing, because PPE right now is what we are talking about. It's what we are saying people should be doing. We believe mainly on localization. I believe that the information that you will get there will really assist you. Probably maybe they will link you to eThekwini. eThekwini is spending a lot of money on PPEs, and we are advocating for South African product. So it's important that they buy from you. We are saying now to government, please don't use the price issue much, because we can't compete with the Chinese. But let us look where the product.
To you, go to the Durban Chamber, find out what support is available for you. Awuyishayile izandla wayithela phezu kwentikha. Right, we'll take 3 more, and then I think we should be in a position to call it a day. Our speakers have engaged for a very long time. Hey, uzongishaya mangamlokhu zami. Was one, nango phakamisa izandla ezimbili. Was no kufanele mix the racial profile there. Was what is that? Is that namaste? Are you saying namaste? Yeah, we need to mix the racial profile. Why are there no charos here? Where's all the charos and all men? Hey, auntie, what can? Why you never come and ask a question and all? Oh, yo, Rama, why you never come? Eh? What happened? Right there, where's the order? Oh, yeah. Right. Miss, so you know the drill, right? Boom, boom, boom.
Sanbonan igama lami nguThembi, the founder of Chilio Skin. Nami first time ngifika ku business fair. Thank you for the opportunity. My question is, I've attended last week one, and then namanje, and then everywhere you go, you don't find anywhere where they talk about skin or skincare. Into esebenziswa every day, all day, wonke umuntu. But I find that support when it comes to skincare, especially for abantu abamnyama, ayikho. When you go to organizations that are supposed to be helping on that sector, we always told about one particular brand.
Ngizokusiza ke manje ngoba
Yes.
ngenza ukuthi indaba yakho sihlale udabeni.
Yes.
When you're in the skin business, you
Yes.
want help.
Yes, but
What
yes,
type of help?
okokuqala, in terms of testing,
Right.
ukuba SAB approved,
Okay.
izinto ezinjalo, where you would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mawusuka la, ujike ngala,
Yes.
ushone ngale, ufike ufuna istand sika Get Natural.
Okay.
Mawufika ku Get Natural, they presented kwenye yama seminars omkhandlu wala eThekwini ukuthi wena uyaqala ukufika, which is not a problem. They presented yayilapha ya. I was facilitating the proceedings, and they presented ukuthi basiza ngalento ishoyo.
Okay.
So lukhona usizo lakho sithando sami.
Ngiyabonga.
Through wona lo mkhandlu lo.
Thank you.
Uzojikela ngale nje
I'm
ufike
happy.
uthole
Thank you,
ugete.
thank you.
Uyacula esontweni, bona indlela ufike wabamba ngayo imic ngathi uzoqala
Oh,
ichorus.
maybe- I don't know, maybe in another lifetime. Or maybe I'm still gonna, so I don't know.
Ngiyakubona?
Yeah.
Okay. So uright kodwa ke.
Ngiyabonga, baba.
Get Natural, that other side, they will assist you. Right. Yes sir.
Sanibona.
Yebo. Hayi wena ke ucula ireggae ngisho ngathiwa indlela ubambe ngayo impop.
Igama uSimphiwe Shabalala, aka.
Uyithi kancane mic izolimaza laba bayilokhuza lapha.
Oh, sorry.
Bese siyayisanitize mic. Right.
Oh, igama njengoba ngiphinda
Hlahla
uSimphiwe.
kancane ku mic mfethu madino. Iyalokhuza
Yeah,
lapha basuke bakhala ngezipikers ziyadabuka.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Igama uSimphiwe ngwakashabalala. Ngihlala khona la kaSani.
Now udlala ibhola.
I'm an actor, I'm a artist manager,
Okay.
also I'm a tutor. I'm a
Okay.
youth activist and I'm a youth developer.
Perfect.
My problem is, uba ubhoti uke washo wathi mawuhlanya hlanya nabo uhlanya ungahlanyi wedwa because mawuhlanya wedwa bazothi crazy then uzohlala phansi. But my problem is mengabuza ukuthi abantu base area ngiqhamuka kona la basukumi ngeke sukume umuntu. That's my problem.
Hlala phezu kwendaba.
So now, ngihlanya nabantu wrong. Ngifisa abantu engizohlanya nabo. Construct ama classes, art,
Okay.
dance, music, and acting. So I'm looking forward to open art hub in my township. There is no one who wants to help me. I don't want to go there and look for help now. I want ukuthi abantu basondele youth because youth I can teach youth from initial stage. Ngibafake la ngifuna ukubafaka khona. So now I need assistance ukuthi
Kula panelist aming now. Kula panelist aming now. Lento oyixoxayo bafoma uyibheka nje ukhona engangena kuyena. Mina ngithi ngiphendule ngokusheshsha. Lento yakho ikwa arts and culture. Ngiyizwa nje. Isemnyangweni wakwa arts and culture. La eThekwini manager wakhona ngimazi self umuntu odila nalezo zinto uThemba Mchunu usuku wakhuluma naye. Long legs. Awukazi uye lapho kuleyo department.
Gcine ngokuthuma noMusa Ntuli.
Very friendly department, very open, very welcome. Yenza nje. Uyabona lapha ku Alice Street.
Yes.
Uyabona lapha eStable Theatre.
Yes.
Awuhambi uyoxoxa indaba yakho khona.
Ngiyabona.
Uyasizakala?
Kakhulu.
Uyanosiza umkhandlu. Shaya izandla. Shaya izandla. Yeah man, how you are? Hey,
Morning, everybody.
morning.
I'm not a Pele, I'm not a carpenter. My name is Kalen Premchand. I've just started a brand called Native, and I just want to address my question to Mr. Baloy and Mr. Ngubane. I just want to address if you would address the issue of scalability. When you get to, we understand at the beginning stages of business, we understand where we need to get. But when you've reached the level where you're now opening offices in Shanghai and you've got 30 retail stores, what is then the plan forward? Like, how do you scale up from there? Or what is the topic of discussion when you sit with your teams?
Right. I think that was a very clear question. Scalability, how do you address the challenge of scalability? What are the issues when the business gets to the point where we need to scale up? What are the key considerations? So he wants to scale up and he wants to know what he needs to be thinking of. Right? That's a question. That's a proper question. Have you got another question?
I have just one more.
Oh man, you're being a proper charo now.
Yeah.
I already told you one question only. Now how are you sneaking in another one? All right, go there, Mati.
Okay,
Go,
thank you.
Mamu.
I'm also in the development stages of making samples and stuff like that, and my expertise is in marketing, digital
Right.
marketing.
Digital
and,
marketing.
you know,
Samples of what, bro?
At the moment, I'm manufacturing backpacks.
Backpacks.
And I'm
Okay.
into African print
Okay,
techwear.
okay.
So I'm just wanting to know, when you're busy trying to figure that part out,
Yeah.
as the entrepreneur or the owner of the company, where do we focus our skill sets? Where do we develop and let other people do what they do? And then where do we like jump off and say, okay, I'm gonna focus here
Okay.
and focus time learning this and let everything else go on?
What are the core skills that the entrepreneur needs to master himself versus the skills that he can outsource to the rest of his team?
Thank you.
Is that your question? I think I think that question becomes a question that all the panelists can then handle almost as a last round of questions. So I think there was a specific question to you, Theo, and then from there, I think all of us can then attempt that last question to say, what are the problems of scaling up? What are the things that you need to be focused on as you scale up? Number two, what are the core competencies that the leader of the business needs to in-source, and what are the competencies that the leader can outsource to his team? And with those two questions, we should be ready to sum up our event for today. Thank you for those amazing questions, Brother Ben. Shall we give him a round of applause, please? We need them roving mic. Ungayiletha nale ngeba sayisi akathi umuntu sazobuza umbuzo manje. Ngiyavala ngqe. Uvalile. Huh? Time. Okay. Time. I'm sorry. Time. But you can engage with us. Let me promise you, what you can do is go on Twitter, #DBF23. Make sure that you ask and demand that there is another one next year. Okay? #DBF23. Take your pic. Send shutile bafowethu. Send shutile. Lalela ngikunikeza itip mina. Ungayithambisi. Uyabona mangabe usushutha. Uthi ushuthe ama-panelist wonke bese in the presence of greatness. Ungayithambisi, it's things like that. Uyiposition. Futhi nje ngibonile khona nekhansela lapho ubuye udlule ngakhona ushuthe linganakile ushuthe kanje uphaka yourself in the presence of greatness, then ex-com member. Uyifake intweni. All right? Are we good? So humbly, I'm going to ask you guys, these were the last couple of questions. There is a time constraint to it. We must accept that we've listened to people who are very serious business people. Their time is money. We appreciate the time that they have given to us. We appreciate what they've shared with us. They've shared their blood, sweat, and tears with us. They've shared their hard-won experience. It's taken them a lot of time. They've gone through the process. They've paid a great price to be where they are. And we don't want to end up in a position where we sound like we don't appreciate what they've already given to us. So can we please give a big round of appreciation? Just a round of appreciation, a round of appreciation. I know there were many more questions to ask. We can never exhaust all the questions. That's just the nature of gatherings such as these. The answer to that is let's have more gatherings. Okay? Thank you. So ngicela sivumelane. Otherwise, I'm happy to engage you on the sidelines. I'm not going anywhere. Yes. And if you want, you get my phone number even, strictly for business. Okay, so can we go? Can we go to the answers? This is the final round of answers. Ngiyabonga kakhulu, you've been an amazing audience, sir.
Thank you. I think I will take the second question and leave the first question to the more. I think we've got very experienced people that have scaled great businesses here, and they can answer that scalability question better. But I think for me, my mantra and approach has always been that, always profile before you diversify. Always focus on the core of your business before you diversify. For instance, in the nature of my business, I'm in a shoe business, I'm a retailer. I don't want to be going now into manufacturing because as part of my value chain, it includes manufacturing, but I cannot necessarily take that arm of the value chain into my own hands because it's a sector that is, number one, very technical. It needs a lot of technology and a lot of a specified skill with the right, I would call them subject matter experts that comes to manufacturing. And if anything happens in that part of the leg or in that arm of the value chain, could be factory faults, could be anything else that is going to disrupt the end product that I can put to the consumer, is going to strain my business and a business that is emerging, Packaging as well, boxes. I want to sell shoes, I don't want to sell boxes. Yes, I need great boxes, and great packaging to amplify my brand, but, packaging on its own, it's an industry on its own that needs the right people with the right experience to do it. So I don't want to be stressing and straining my processes and my value chain about something that does not necessarily, is not my core, but it's the core of my business. I sell shoes. So, I would say that you should always know which business units and services that you can keep in-house and which ones to outsource and which ones to focus on and which ones are great at. Again, I'm an accountant by profession. I want to scale the business, I want to corporatize it, but I know nothing about human capital, about HR. So get the right skill set that can focus on human capital and making sure that when you're employing 100 people, 200 people, you've got the right policies and process in place, and most importantly, the right skill set to focus on human capital. I don't have the time to be going into HR meetings and disciplinary hearings and all of that because it's not really the core of my business. My role in my business is strategy and growth, and that's what I want to focus on. So that's how, for me, I decide what is it that I want to take on and what is it that I want to sort of give it to the right people in an effort to achieve a same vision.
Thank you. So scalability to me is linked to the reason why you're doing the business. And a business cannot grow like a wildfire out of your control, right? And the reason sometimes you have an exit plan is because of the control of how you want to scale it. Now, there's different avenues how you exit a business, right? Now, the reason why we are exiting at the age of 45, I'm 38 now, we've got 7 years in the business. We started with my business partner. My business partner's got a spiritual calling. He runs a church, he's a pastor. And he said after 45, he's going to give himself to God, right? My mom worked really hard and got me into a school called DHS, Durban High School. And she worked very hard. She worked in Ngwelezane hospital, and she couldn't obviously come up because, now I didn't have a present father, and I did very well at sports, very well at academics. And no one was there. You'd go and collect your prizes, your trophies, and it kind of didn't mean anything to me. So from a very young age, I promised myself that I'm going to be rich enough to come to my school's random days, like swimming lessons, right? And that's why my son now is 1 year old. He'll be 6. He'll be starting school. So I actually I timed it perfectly. When he starts school, I'm going to stop working. So everything that I do now is towards that 45 goal, so that I'm there for my son. I used to see white parents come on like 12 o'clock in the day, and they're like, does he do? They say, no, he's a business person. And I said, no, okay, cool. Let me work hard. Let me sacrifice time now so that when I'm 45, I can be there. I can come on a Wednesday at 3 o'clock with my shorts and watch him, because my investments and what I've built is working. Now, to let you in on a little bit on what we are planning to do. Now, I told you earlier that a lot of companies have given us big checks. I could have retired a long time ago. Now, because we want to leave this agency in the hands of Africans, we are planning to list on different stock exchanges, London Stock Exchange, New York, whatever stock exchange we can lift, and then normal people can start buying shares into our vision. And that's what we are building. We are building an exit. So your answer really is, you have to be in control of the growth. We've pulled back. We went into Nigeria, we set up, we came back in 3 months. Different market, different value system. You must know when to pull back. We already had, we're trying to get out of a lease, we'd already signed a lease, but we stayed there and we said, no, this is not our type of business, and our company culture is not suited to this business style. Nigeria is an amazing market, but not for us. So you must know when to pull back, know when to attack, right? And also look after home. So we can grow everywhere, right? But Joburg is the headquarters, and that needs to be strong. The Roman Empire fell because it grew too big, and they forgot about Rome. And by the time they could come back, it was too late. So always make sure you are home. Battleground is home. And I love how the Zulu monarchy, unongom, they stay there. You could stay in Mhlanga, everywhere, but home. Make sure that the stronghold is the stronghold. So Joburg is my stronghold, wherever. So that's always going to be the head office. And this lastly, on growth as well. I insist that people around me must be more intelligent than me. Most times it's very easy, but in some aspects, I make sure that my exco challenges me. I make sure, like there was a person I interviewed, and they were challenging everything that I was saying. They were like, no, but what do you think about this? And I hired that person. And he said that I didn't even think. Like, I went home and I said, no, I'm never going to get that job. I want people to disagree with me. I can't sit with yes men. I want people to challenge me, because that's how you grow. So lastly, so I used to own a nightclub called Pata Pata Lounge in Cape Town. And my business partner, who was involved in other things, taught me a lesson. He said, a mafia, right, is not the most dangerous person, right? A mafia is the one that has the ability to unite other thugs, right? So if you can pull the most dangerous thinkers in marketing, in HR, in strategy, then you automatically don't have to do anything. You just, because you've put all of them together, the collective respect for you becomes greater. So make sure, like, the biggest thing about business is having this, like, so lastly, I don't have an office in my office, right? We have an open plan thing. I took it from a Nike office. The CEO must sit anywhere. Everyone must sit anywhere. The problem that we have, we get to a point where we are the guy that can't be told. And then you're the emperor without clothes, and your business is crumbling while you think you're doing well. So make sure that you have people around you that can tell you, that people that are confident enough to tell you when you are wrong, and listen to them. Listen to people that are more clever than you so you can build your business. Yeah. And I know after these, a lot of people say they want to be mentored and stuff. I mentor on social media. As I said, it's Twitter @Nduna. So I share freely my campaigns, my fears, everything. So yeah. Thank you.
You've got to give hands to that. You've got to give hands to that. It's freely available on social media. You don't have to chase him. He's there. He's giving it all to you. Ozanik, I am the bad program director who gives a lot of time to other people and less time to others. And I'm doing it just before a lady, which makes me exceptionally terrible. But I am going to take the knock for that. We did start a little bit later. And there's another event due to happen right at this venue, which I'm going to then suggest that my last three speakers are just going to speak. I'll stand up, I'll close, and then we'll leave room for the next Lento Happiness.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen. You've said a handful, mouthful, that is. Scalability should not be a surprise of any business. It's something that you think of from day one. So your vision is very important. So to know, in 5 years' time, this is where I'm going to be, and at this time, I need to exit. And having that, vision means that you need to have the right people in the bus, as everyone has said. The support structure around you needs to be very inclusive in the business, and to also understand and have an ownership, mindset. So for me, being a good leader needs empathy, it needs resilience, it needs persistence, because business is very tough, and you need to be very patient with all the systems that happen. You need integrity, you need agility, because things are always changing. So I can't say much to that. They've alluded to a lot of those things, but scalability is something that you think of from day one when you start your business, to say, in 5 years' time, this is where I'm going to be. It should never be a surprise.
Thank you. I think I'll be short. Scalability is good, but it comes with risk. So you must know your vision. You must have time frames. You must know where you want to be in the next year. Let me make an example. If you are transporting eggs from this side to that side, and you have a box of eggs which we have put all your savings, and your cash flow is just to be able to move it from one end to another, and you were taking a basket of eggs from here to that side, but you're looking at and you're seeing a big market on this side, and you decide to take a risk and say, I'm taking the whole box. If you trip and fall, it means all your money is gone. So you are taking risk at some point when you scale up. So it's important to check whether your cash flow can allow you to do that. If you are not able to meet the demand, what's going to happen to your business? It's very, very good, but do it in a proper manner where you do a planning. You are not driven by what is your next door is doing. You are not comparing yourself, because in many instances, what has destroyed SMMEs is trying to be the next person. Thank you.
I'm always the victim of being the last one to speak. But in any case, I think in a second or two, I'll be done. It's important that you understand your business. Businesses are not the same. There are certain businesses that I will never, ever, ever recommend that you scale. I'll tell you, it's good as it is. One-man show. It's got your signature on it. That's the reason why you exist. those businesses can't scale. And if they scale, and most of the time they die. There are businesses where they're good enough to scale, and if you are that kind of a business, understand it comes with risks. Growth comes with huge responsibilities. It is possible for a business to age and not grow. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You saved the best for last. Yeah, right. How was that? Like, boom, right? Yeah, man. So it's gonna take time. There's a process to it, and you are going to have to pay the price. Now, let me invite you back to that affirmation we heard earlier as we close up. I'm in my lane. I do my thing. I don't compete. I don't compare. I'm too blessed for that. I'm in my lane. I do my thing. I don't compete. I don't compare. I'm too blessed for that. For the last time, I'm in my lane. I do my thing. I don't compete. I don't compare. I'm too blessed for that. Shall we clap hands for all of ourselves, please? As always, the Durban Business Fair has been a very educational, very inspirational affair where we've had great speakers who've had a lot of light to share with us, and we've been enlightened in many ways. We've been inspired, we've been encouraged, but more than anything, we've also learned that COVID has not been the end of business. If anything, COVID has given us other opportunities. And that as business people, we need to continue to understand that the business of business is business, COVID or no COVID. Is that a fair conclusion? Is that a fair conclusion? The business of business is business, COVID or no COVID. Now we've had these amazing speakers tell us from the first speaker to the last how they did it. And it was entirely up to us to then make notes of what lessons we've picked for ourselves. Not only that, our speakers have actually given us tangibles that we can go home with and that can become help for us, support for us in the future. We've been empowered with support, agency support, good books to read. We've been supported with business support, including training and other things. So there's been real value delivered today. Not only that, we've also been told that we can go to the Durban Business Chamber and go register there and become part of a movement where there are other opportunities to be developed. But we've also heard that it's not going to happen by magic, that it's going to take us as business people, first of all, to have a dream, to have that vision, to know what it is that we want to do, and be committed to that, to be committed to the dream, to pay the price to give birth to the dream, have the correct midwives around us, and in the end, add value to everybody else, so that our businesses have meaning beyond just the money that we're going to make. That we will do this not by comparing ourselves to others, but because we have a true sense of purpose that we are following. For those who have received the kind of help that they've received, may I ask that after this, you join me. I will come stand on that side so that you can find me. We're not going to run away with the prizes you have been awarded. But other than that, I'm now going to ask that we allow our speakers. Bab Council, this is the part where we thank you and your exco. Ngiyacela baba, ngenkulu inhlonipho, ngiyacela uphakame sikushayile isandla baba. Ngiyacela ubaba Council simshayile isandla. Siyabonga ukuthi umkhandlu weTheku ubungenza baba umkhandlu ukuthi uthi kuzi COVID kune fourth wave nani ayikhanselwe lento kodwa wathi umkhandlu sizokhuluma ngayo impela iCovid ukuthi njengoba kune COVID osomabhizinisi ekuyibona abazovusa umnotho bangenze njani. Siyabonga kakhulu baba, sibonga asinawo amagama anele, asazi noma eminye imikhandlu yakwenza yini lokho futhi asiyinyundela asiyixolodile kodwa sithi nje singaba seThekwini. #DBF23. Kwamhlaba uyalingana nje asazi noma bakwenza yini lokho. Mkhanya good. All right, we shall see. All right. So with those words, this brings us to the end. If you would be seated, there is it's the Durban Film Office, huh? Yes, so it's the film side of things now, that side of the business. And then there is food for sale. If we go out to the Lapangapandle, there's some food for sale, but there's an excellent program starting here on the film industry as well. Don't miss it. Otherwise, shall we give a round of applause to our speakers as they exit and we allow them. We thank all our speakers for having granted us their time. Indeed, we thank you. We couldn't have had such an excellent program without you. Asbaphindeni as they exit. Ningabaleki kukhona into ezikhala kahle. Angithi nibonile nje. Please be seated. There's I'm advised that for each and every attendee kunento ezikhala kahle. Kwaze kwamnandi kwi Durban Business Fair. Kwaze kwamnandi. So for every attendee, if you would please be seated, there is stuff that's going to come to your tables, please. You want a photo? Look, okay. With all our panelists, if you can ask our panelists to just come through. Simi ngokwe height ingani? Oyiqondanela. Is that ngokwe descending order of height, right? Thatha another one. Ospin. Mana ngikhethe, mangikhethe. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Oh, you want an, oh, they are asking, sorry.